Are we twins? No, we cousins. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Jeremiah 7. I'm here with Jay King. We're going to be reviewing Sinners, the new Ryan Coogler film, which is, I can say, to date, as of, was it almost May, is the best film of 2025. Yes, this is a star-studded cast. You got Michael B. Jordan. You also got Delroy Lindo. You got Hailee Steinfeld, and more. Honestly, there's no crumbs left. Honestly,
after I saw it, I was just like, yeah, no, this is so far the best movie of 2025. And yeah, this is by far my favorite Ryan Coogler film. I'd have to think if it's my favorite Michael B. Jordan film, but overall, I enjoyed the heck out of Sinners for multiple reasons. Culturally, technically, musically, especially musically within this film, there's just so much to love. And as you said, everyone gives their A-game performances, and it makes sense given the fact of the type of actors we got in here, including, music star turned actor Miles Colton doing a really, really good job here as well. But yeah, just so much to love with this film.
Yeah, Jayme Lawson. You got Omar Miller, who he's like a character. Every time you see him, you have a smile on your face. He played Cornbread. But you also have Wunmi Mosaku. So she was Lovecraft Country too. You wonder why it was giving Lovecraft Country vibes?
Yes,
she was in it.
Yes. I also find it funny how the mayor of Gotham in The Batman and the Penguin is very much Lawson. A sinner in this. Yes.
Jayme Lawson, right? Which also now she gives some of her musical talent as well in this. And of course, Hailee Steinfeld can't do no wrong. But again, the star of this movie, Michael B. Jordan, playing against himself, playing twin brothers Smoke and Stack. And I'll just say, from an acting point of view, I think again this is one of his highlight of his career, is doing this role, but also taking it in a way where, listen, we've seen this before, Parent Trap and whatever, but it in a way that is almost making you forget that these are the same actor playing just two different roles. And they start off right in the beginning of the movie when we first get to see them, and then they're just passing a cigarette, right? And that just set the stage, everything. We're like, whoa, what? And they're just doing it back, just chilling, right? But yeah, and I just felt like with this,
right.
There was so much cultural impact of this movie that everybody is getting, even white people, even like all people, to a point where this is a win for all of us. This is not a black movie. You have a majority black cast, but it transcends a lot of different things too. Even when it comes to its villain, this is a vampire movie. This is horror, but the villain is not stereotypical. Like he got his own backstory, his own storyline, and everything. But I just thought it was interesting in terms of how they just kind of did so many different layers here. There's many scenes in this. I can say my favorite scene in the movie. I think if you pick one, you will be wrong. Stack, they come back to Mississippi. When they went to Chicago, just trying to make it big there, and they realized nothing special over here. We're gonna take this back home and build our own. And this whole film sets place in a day. Basically they're trying to set up a juke joint by us for us, right? And he's trying to get a bunch of people to cook for them, provide the liquor and everything like that, provide the entertainment, all of that. Even buying the venue from a current Klansman. Right? The Klan is gone. Yeah, right. But yes, there ain't no boys here, only grown men with grown men money, right?
Grown men guns,
right? And guns, right? Exactly. But like this film, again, they transcend a lot of different things here, even like highlighting different cultures at the same time, to a point where it's like, hey, if you made a spin-off film with this, with several films with this. I mean, you wouldn't be wrong. You could have done a spin-off film with just seeing the chronicles of Smoke and Stack in Chicago. And also the fact that Smoke, he just, he went to war and everything, right? But seeing also the differences in between them, that you see Smoke is more of the protective figure and more serious and stern, and Stack is the more life of the party, slick talker and everything, and the one that probably gets him in trouble and can't watch his own back, and that's why Smoke is there. But they all got their own, demons and own things going on with them. But we also get other characters that you mentioned, Preacher Boy, Miles Colton, who is singing everything that you hear. That's coming from his vocal cords. Definitely is a breakout role for him, even though he's been in other things. But like this is really gonna be a breakout role for him for years to come. Because again, there was such emphasis on music in this, and he is the focal point character. Comes from family, a father who's a preacher and stuff, but he wanted to play the blues, right? And the dad is notorious of it, because he's just like, hey, listen, you keep dancing with the devil, they might follow you home. And when you watch this film, it's rewatchable for a lot of different reasons, because what the title Sinners is not just on a religious connotation, but like think about like, all these characters are sinners in one way, right? Smoke and Stack, they're criminals. They're known in Mississippi as the Smokestack twins for a reason. And to a point where they're feared but also respected, to a point where nobody's walking over them. But you also get into seeing other characters. Was it Lee Jun Li plays Grace, who also runs a few shops in the area of Mississippi, which is also history, which is highlighting another part of Asian culture at the time in the 1930s that had really not get no recognition whatsoever. Like, these communities were here, right? We also get mother figures, even though, or the powers of a praying woman, a praying black woman, let's be in fact, with Annie, and who was also Smoke's lover, but also they had a child that passed and everything, but yeah, she still stayed in that town, being just like the more protective figure of people and everything, right? The area of wisdom, and nurturing figure that she has in this movie, and also the vocal point of giving us the knowledge and wisdom of when stuff goes down. Because she's very knowledgeable. But we also get Hailee Steinfeld, who plays Mary. So, and now I'll say this, we're going into this, but like Mary and Stat, they have a very interesting relationship. They basically go back and forth and all that stuff. Like, they have their banter, their history, going along with that. But what were just some of your thoughts on I guess not only the relationships, because there were at least 3 sets of relationships in this movie I felt that were powerful, but they cover a lot of themes here with these characters that have their own way of when events transpire, like you realize why this person made the decision they do, right? And it makes sense, but yet the way that the story, how narratively is structured to a point where when we get first introduced to them, and then when we get to the climax of the movie, we'll see how everything turns out, how everything hits the fan, and who goes left or right. But yeah, what was just some of your highlights with this movie?
Well, I mean, as you said, in terms of like one of my highlights being the relationships between, because like every single one of these characters, both like everybody in the community, Smoke and Stack, even the villains, it's like, everyone's got good chemistry and is able to bounce off of one another in conversation based upon that history. Smoke and Annie and their whole complicated backstory, or Stack and Mary and what they got going on, or Grace and her husband and and their daughter who is at the shop with them, and how they connect with the Smokestack twins, or Paraline.
Perline, yes. Who is a Jezebel, by the way?
And, again,
a Jezebel cheating on her husband. How dare she?
But again, it's just like
she got bit twice in this movie.
I know.
Anyway,
but yes.
Anyway,
it's like just every. Bro. But seriously, again, it's just the way that everybody bounces off of one another is just so good, because again, it's like they both bring out the best and the worst out of each other depending on the situation or depending on what's going on. And I think what you were saying when it was like, you know, how they react to certain things, it's like, yes, in a crisis you really get to see what type of person somebody is. And it's like you could truly see when they had to deal with all the craziness that happens halfway into this movie with, you know, the vampires coming in, and, you know, who's good, who's bad. Do you trust what they say? You know, do you trust their word, and, you know, or not? Or, you know, who are you trying to protect and who are you looking out for? It's, you know, true to see, you know, for those that didn't get bit, you know, initially, you get to see why they are the way they are and how they become who they become. And that's one of my favorite parts. Another one of my favorite parts is just the power of music in this film, whether it be from Miles Coulter or not. Like the way that music plays such a huge part, that we gotta talk about it. The freaking moment when he was in the juke joint, you know, they got everybody's dancing, you know, take me, that moment, and out of nowhere, and you weren't expecting it, but you're just like, Jesus. And that's a moment that you can go back and pause on, is when you go through the history, past, present, and future of music.
And I feel like a lot of people, like I've seen some people were like, oh, that seems kind of weird. But like mostly 9 out of 10 people were like, how that scene was very powerful, because you're seeing the history with music. And that's what music is. It connects you through past, present, and future. Right. And even then, how we have remixes of songs today from what came out back then, but it's also showing where the roots of everything came from. Right. But then not only that, knowing the people in the room, when you're following the music, you know, we are getting a sense of like what we're feeling as a culture, because mostly Black people in there. But then you get to the Asian people that was there, and then they get it was tied to their roots. Right. Now, obviously, if there was more people in there, I guarantee you there would have been other cultures represented that might go into, even like, let's say for like out of hyperbole, whatever. Let's say that Remick, the vampire Remick, right? If he was in the juke joint and that scene happened, right, we will saw some Irishmen, you know, doing the Irish jig and all that stuff like that, right? Like it would have made sense, because when you're hearing music, what is it speaks to you, right? You know, and with that scene, how it panned, it was a single shot, the aspect ratio change, everything. But then what people just don't understand was like, no, that is an artistic canvas that you're watching right now in its fullest glory, but in a very smart, strategic way that is seamless, that people might say, oh, that might have took me out. Watch it again. And you watch it again for a third time. The rewatchability factor, like obviously it might caught you off guard, but then you understand the context of what they're trying to do. Again, they keep having monologues in a movie about music, you know, how it invites spirits, which a whole nother conversation, which we'll get into. But it's just you know,
but I do have to say, I do have to say, it's like I can't understand at first it might catch you off guard, because it's like you're not expecting it, and then boom, you just got this very long one take, and it's like as you're looking across, and all of a sudden you see someone that's out of place, and then a few more people are out of place. And I understand initially it might throw you off here, because you're like, whoa, what, like everything was in one time period, then it's throwing a bunch of time periods from before, current day for us, and maybe even the future, all at once. But when you go back on that scene, you like, whether it be when you're watching in the theater again or when it comes out on digital, and you can pause and look at, you know, specifically what's being represented, it starts to clear for you. It's like at first it caught me off guard, but then I took a moment and I was like, wow.
Right. But that's the part of the experience, though, is the reveal of it.
Yes.
Right? Like I'm questioning while I'm watching, and I'm like, oh, I'm understanding, and I'm along from the ride, and then you add more into it while we're following this, because again, it was just like one thing after another. And then all of a sudden, guess what? The roof the roof is on fire, like, and literally it goes into what the in songs, music, when we say, man, you blow the roof off the place was fire, literally, and but it showed that how it was just such a spiritual experience and stuff like that. But then with music, it can attract history, but also can attract spirits and uninvited spirits. To be in fact, we got Remick, who is, again, this is a vampire movie. And one thing I love about this, and yes, he was invited, he was attracted to Miles's the preacher boy singing, right? And it's like, I want to connect to my past, my people and everything, and I want to use you. Now, there's so many connotations to it, because it can go into white savior complex, it can go to maybe possibly culture appropriation, like taking things and making it your own, whatever. But that it's like, no, this belongs to us, whatever, right? But also talented people being targeted by demonic spirits or demonic people, or like, and take race out of it, right? Take race out of it, because the thing about what I love about Remick, he wasn't racist. Like, do you notice, like, that he wasn't racist? Like, he did. Like, he came in when he first took off the two Klansmen, husband and wife and stuff, right? But then when he gets into a door after the whole thing revealed, right? He had a conversation like, listen, I am your guiding light. I can offer you a way out. I am in giving you something, a gift, to get something that you want. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have power over you and control. And I can, I know your deepest, darkest desires and all that stuff like that, to attract you, to lure you in, right? But at the same time, I'm offering you a gift, right? But at the end of the day, it leads to eternal damnation, because even then, like, vampire, your soul is not, unless you burn it, that's when your soul can be free, right? But it's just like, he wasn't racist. Even then, like, when he got the Klansmen, say, hey, by the way, you bet this juke joint, but it was built on a lie, right? Like that's the thing. It was powerful because you didn't know, like, what's this place for, and you don't know what it was, a slaughterhouse, right? For Klansmen to come in there, and it's like they're just gonna go take your money and gonna come back and kill you, and then and then he even said, like, yeah, we'll go get his bigoted ass too, but it just showed that, again, even it doesn't matter, like, when we talk about diversity, I feel like there's a big conversation we have here with this film, that I think this film is the answer and key, which other films have had the key, like American Fiction, but a lot of people in the industry are just overlooking this. You can have people of color, you can have race as a setting, but not the message, right? You can have racism exist, but not it be the foundation of your story, right? And to a point where it's like, yes, we understand we're in the 1930s. Yeah, they're picking cotton in field and everything. Yes, black people are poor. We try to do what we can. White man this, white women that, right? We get it. But what's even powerful was the fact that, like, no. In this setting here, it's like, no, we're talking about someone that's offering you a way out, right? People are trying to tempt you. That's what we're talking about. The sin is temptation. And that's applied to any race, any culture, whatever, right? Even to a point when other cultures are warning you, hey, you invited this spirit to your house. I'm letting you know, we got to act now. No? Okay. May God be with you, sister. Let's get the fuck up out of this joint. They guys like, hey, and the homeboy's like, yo, the sun, it's sundown. We gotta go, bro. Hey, we gotta go. Like they are, he's already in there. We done. We done our part. Peace be with you, sister. Bye-bye. Like it was gone. It was hilarious. But like the Native Americans was warning the white racist woman, hey, right, that dude you just invited, no, we gotta act now. But yeah, you gonna look at us like we the enemy. No, you invite them to your home, right? And then you soon learn. And then what happens when they get consumed by that spirit? Oh, be kind to one another. We are one people, right? And that's the message: is unity, inclusivity, all that. oh yes, come join us. But it is a lie, because just because somebody wants you doesn't mean they're for you, right? People will take your gifts, take your talents for their own personal gain. And yes, at the time, that could have been also other implications of race with black people and everything. They're being used and stuff, but it wasn't the message. It could be for white people too. It could be for Asian people, whatever. It doesn't matter. It just, that's what I'm saying with diversity. You can have people of color in these roles, in these stories, but yet not it be the foundation, that way that all people universally can understand and see an entertaining story, but a story that has emotional weight and depth, but also complexity in terms of the writing. It was like, hey, I'm not even a white person, and I can see the message they're saying this to white people. Irish, I'm not Irish, like I never will be. And I'm like, and I'm singing the song. You know, come on, yeah, you know, let's go. But then it's like also too, like you're also getting exposed to new cultures. I didn't like, my mom is from Mississippi, Meridian, Mississippi, right? So I knew about that area. That's where my mom's side of the family grew up, you know, and stuff. So to see that with the Asian community, like, and then you're seeing that because of this film, like, you know, awareness of those communities during those times, because it's in a certain period of time. Like, no, these people are picking cotton, but like they're not slave owners. They're just sharecroppers, right? But still, there still is, you know, white supremacy of people in, to getting labor from black people during that time. But at the same time, you didn't see the man just with the whip. You saw a dude on the horse with the shotgun, whatever. But it was businesses. Still, at the same time, there still was an economical gap between the South and the North, right? And even then, when the guy, like when Smoke went up to Chicago talking to Preacher, like, no, I want to leave up out of here. Like, no, you leave this improper stuff with us, and you go up to our North, and you go with the proper black folks. You know, like that's no white person said that. It was a black person to do that. Also stole from both sides. He stole the Irish beer. They stole all of that, right? And they're like, hey, this is what we do. But you a son of a pastor. Our daddy, we were known, the mayor, we were up there. They knew who our daddy was. Nothing good comes from that, right? But you go up there, you know, and go with the proper black people, which is a whole nother side of it, man. Like, come on. But yeah, I'm sorry. What was your thoughts on this? Because I just like, it's so many things happening, and I'm just like, it's rewatchable. But like, that's what things about us on screen. But like, it's not about, oh, wade in the water, slavery, racism. Like, no. But yes, the dude killing the Klansman and take one dude just taking out the entire Klan at the end. Yeah, and white people were cheering. Like, come on. This is unity. Come on. But yeah, man, go on.
Oh my god. But no, I 100% agree. It's like that's another thing I really like about this movie, is that any messages that were in there, whether intentional or not, were not force fed to you. Like, all these things happen naturally because they did. And again, I didn't even think about it until you said it. Yeah, the villain wasn't racist. Like, yes, he was a representation of temptation, of like, oh, I could take you away from all these problems. You'll never have to, like, all these people, all these people that want to hurt you, and these people that don't give a crap about you. I can help you through all that. And it's like, he wasn't racist about it, like, whatsoever. Because maybe in some, like, whatever the case is, whatever his backstory is that we didn't see before this film. But besides that point, it's like, again, this isn't just a black movie. Yes, it's starring, for the most part, black people, but this movie isn't like, and I know Ryan Coogler, again, like, y'all, again, say whatever, right, whenever it comes to his, like, his past films, and again, the people that he's casted, but it's like, this is a movie for everybody. Like, and again, as I'll tell you, with my real life job, it's like, I've seen multiple people, and while I've primarily been black people, at least in my area, multiple people like upon multiple people of all races, all genders, going into this movie, and all their words coming out of it were, this was a freaking fantastic film. So many like freaking messages to be heard. These people did their A game. Michael B. Jordan did great. Miles Colton, like, and everybody see this movie, and again, it's like, again, this movie's for everybody, and any messages that are there, intentional or not, are not forced to you. It's not like, despite the setting, it's not your stereotypical, oh, it's the racist white man, we gotta fight. No, it's not
woke.
It's not that type of,
it's woke.
Like I don't want to hear shit about that. I do not want to hear that word when it comes to this movie, okay? Because even if it is, it's not fucking force fed to you, okay? It's not. It is not whatsoever, because these are just people. These are just people going about their lives, trying to fight against this temptation that thinks he knows what they want, but he really doesn't. He's really just projecting from other people that he's seen, in terms of what he believes that they want. Still not racist, again, but still, it's like, there's just so much that could be said right now. There's so much that could be said when people go to rewatch this film, or when it comes out on digital, and more people that, just the type of people that don't want to go to the movies but see the thing when it comes on digital, will say, it's like, there's a reason why this is the first horror movie, quote unquote horror movie, in like 35 years to get an A rating on Cinema Score.
20.
There's a reason
because of
like, right. There's a reason why this has been getting 10 out of 10s, 9.5 out of 10s. Like, there's a reason that this movie's through the roof, and it's because it's an enjoyable time, and it's not playing on any tropes that a lot of people probably thought it would. It's not. There's no classic fight the pow. No, there's none of that.
Like, yes, like, no, is there feels for that? Like, obviously, for like one moment at the end, yes, there's one moment at the same time, it's justified in the story. We told you bring your clans buddies over to our land that we bought and we paid for. We're gonna kill you guys where you stand, and they made their promise. One also loved that there was two. Well, I don't even call it post-credit scene. I call it epilogue, really. That these are not, like, I mean, technically, but like these are just two separate epilogues, and yeah, we can just talk about it. But we get, well, I mean, at the end of the movie, we see Preacher Boy. He was told by his father, like, put it down, son, in the name of the Lord, and he decided no. He decided to take the broken handle of that special guitar and leave. And he left to the same direction that Smoke and Stack did, but he changed, and he got to, play in a blues club, and we see him older, played by Buddy Guy, like, of all people, like playing in a jazz club, which leads to the first one where Stack and Mary, who got turned into vampires, and we didn't see die in the story. Right, you didn't see them die.
They survived, and we like time skipped to like, what was it, 90s. Like 80? Yeah, 90s. To the 90s. It was
1992, I think.
Yeah,
so
1992.
It'd been at least, so it had to be at least 60, almost 60 years or so.
Like 50 or 60 years in between.
Years.
Yeah, but he's Preacher Boy's close to the end of his life now, and so his vampire cousin and vampire old friend show up, and they're like, hey, if you want, we can give you a way out. And he's like, no, I've lived a long life, I've seen it enough. I just want to go out with my rights, mine, and I guess in a sense, the last time they truly saw the sun, which was, the last time Stack saw his brother, which was like 50 so years ago, and leading into the song, Last I've Seen. But yeah, that was I think that was the point I cried.
Well, it was just like, okay, because Stack and Mary, their whole thing was like, they deserve each other, right? But that's the whole thing. But when they finally got with each other. It's like, no, Stack, he didn't have somebody watch his back. Now he does, right? But then now Mary also has somebody that admits that they actually love him, and so now like they're basically a unit with that. But and because that's all she said. I didn't want to be white. I didn't want to be with this married. Would be with this husband I got. I didn't want to be white. I want to be with you. And he's like, no, I love you, but I just want you to give you this lifestyle that I'm in. And now, well, at the end, and now they're internally for each other. But yeah, but with the buddy guy, playing the older preacher boy, but like it's also kind of just showing also the history of the blues and kind of with that. Now, did you notice that the bar was named Pearline?
Yes, I noticed that.
Yeah. Now there's a bunch of memes that are gonna come out of this movie. I already made some, but it just like
I saw that.
But like again, there's like some care like. But I would say this: well, Delroy Lindo as well. I'll just say as Delta Slim. Again, I thought he was a fantastic character. Just added to just another type of gravitas to all of this. With this film, even with the amazing cast it had. But this was just icing on the cake with him. But yeah, there's just other scenes with him, just why he's a drunk and everything, but why he's drinking, all of that. But like, yeah, it's a lot. But I'd say this was an entertaining film, action packed. But again, I think more action than horror. Like, yeah, you have those horror moments, but that was after you get through past those, just an entertaining film. And I want the industry, as we recognize this film, original film IP that is owned by Ryan Coogler, that he now has stake in and everything, that that people need to support. Oh yeah, no pun intended. But that they stake in ownership in this, because like they need we need to rewatch this movie, and because regardless, not just for people of color, all people, you tired of these reboots, you're tired of these sequels, you're tired of all these IP franchises and these comic book and video game movies and movies based off of books and other stuff like that, franchise, Transformers, whatever you want to call it, big budget Hollywood blockbuster type stuff, right? But not knowing that a blockbuster can also just be a fantastic story that's original and that is profitable in the cinema. And hopefully we rewatch it and continue to support this movie. This allows for other projects, for other creators, white, black, green, or yellow, to actually make original content and support it. We just have Nora that just won Best Picture. Again, the original IP and the original content and films is coming and is growing. The problem is we're just not responding with our dollar. And even then, with sometimes like with circumstances like this film, and currently at the moment is not getting international distribution for other reasons, like so. But aside from that, I have faith that in this industry and people are talking about this movie, that this movie will have weight and longevity by end of this year. And hopefully some Oscar consideration too. Like, let's just keep it real. Like, hopefully. Come on, like, and listen, if Dune is getting all this, Dune came out the same time of last year when this movie came out, right? So March, April, like that's really the start of the movie season where it's getting hit. But I'm just saying this. I've given this film a 10 out of 10. But yeah, what was your final thoughts on this film before wrap things up?
I look. There's a lot I could say, but I'm just gonna keep it short and just say, go see it if you haven't seen it yet. I mean, we talked about it, but it's like, even so, like, go see it. And if you've already seen it, go see it again. Like, just go see it as many times as both you physically can and that you want to. And when it comes out on digital, watch it again. But that's all I can say. I really do believe that this is an Oscar-worthy like movie, and as much recognition. I'm already seeing Ryan Coogler. He already sent a last like spring break weekend, like for all the people who went out. And I can testify in saying, like, this is a movie that has had every single seat in a theater filled to the brim. And it's like, this is an experience that people just need to see. I give this a straight up 10 out of 10. And it's like, no, like this is more than just a film. This is a real piece of art, and I applaud Ryan Coogler. I applaud Ryan Coogler and Michael B. I applaud the entire cast and crew. I can't wait to see what they do next, and I can't wait to see them get the recognition that they so well deserve for this freaking movie. But yeah, just go see Sinners.
Yeah, this movie is not overrated, it's appreciated. So yeah, clip it, you put in there, and make sure you go and see this in the biggest screen possible, in IMAX, in 70 millimeter, whatever that might be for you. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share. We'll see you guys in upcoming videos very, very soon. We're getting back into the momentum, posting more videos. Thunderbolts is right around the corner. So yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.